Hey lovelies, it's Kate. Welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. I'm so excited to be back. I know, it's been a while. Happy New Year to all of you. This is actually my first video in 2022 and I'm super excited to be back building. I was on a break and yeah, let's talk about this build. Let's talk about why I was on a break and let's see what's going on here. So I went on a break in December when my dad had his second heart attack. He had his first in August. I also went on a short break in August or September for that reason. And then he had some issues again in December and he had some concerning symptoms and then all kind of very quickly unfolded in December. So I went to my parents to take care of my mom and to be there for them, and I stayed there. And I also stayed there over Christmas and New Year's, which was also great because at this point my dad was already feeling so much better. He's quite well now, which is really relieving. And he was already home for Christmas and I just spent lots of time with my parents. The original plan was for my boyfriend to come to my parents as well to stay there over Christmas, but he then got sick, so he stayed home and we decided that it would be better if I would just stay there so I wouldn't just kind of catch it. So he was home alone. I spent some time with my parents, which is always amazing. I live a couple of hours away, so it's always great to stay there. And at this point all was good again, luckily. So at first it was quite the shock when my dad had another heart attack, but very quickly things were much better, which is amazing. And the last year was just such a roller coaster. So many different things happened. It wasn't always easy, and then everything kind of was really difficult and concerning when my dad had his first heart attack. And I feel like I'm a quite emotional person sometimes, and I'm easily concerned, and I don't know, I felt like I kind of lost my way when all of this happened. I've been worrying a lot, and I mean, it's much better now, but I felt like I need a break in general. And then I started to work on this build, and this took me a while. So I was asking you on YouTube and Twitter what to build, and I took a look at all your recommendations and I'm going to build some of them, but I wanted to kick off the year by just building a really typical KateEmerald mansion. I was kind of struggling still. I had no idea what to build, and this was kind of really comforting. This is like the equivalent to comfort food for me when I'm just building one of those huge mansions. I'm just sitting here and working on one of those big mansions, and that's what I did. It also felt quite weird to kind of be back in the saddle here, talking to you, making a video, but I'm really happy to be back because sometimes you just have to do it. You just have to be back at it and then things feel normal again, kind of. And I'm really excited to work on more builds and to just get back on track. I know that I have uploaded really almost randomly after August. This is when things kind of went haywire on this channel and when things kind of went haywire in my life a bit. So yeah, I just want to get back on track, and I don't know, just want everything to be okay. I'm just hoping for a really good 2022. I'm just hoping that my dad won't have any further issues, and I just need a good time, to be honest. I mean, the last couple of years were difficult for all of us because of the pandemic and stuff. I don't really talk about this on this channel because it's a happy place, a safe space, but I just want to mention this because I feel like I'm talking about how I'm feeling and the struggle and how I've been struggling mentally during the last couple of months, and I feel like this is a part of it. Definitely for me, it was like in the very beginning I wasn't feeling like the pandemic is really affecting me that much mentally, but then it kind of caught up on me. I don't know, but it's difficult. We're all worried, and I get this, but we are going to get through this. Things will be better eventually, and I'm just hoping for things to really get better at some point, maybe in spring or summer. And yeah, but I'm doing okay now. I hope you are doing super well. I hope you will have a great 2022. And this is a Sims channel, so I'm also hoping that things will be really amazing when it comes to The Sims. I'm hoping for some great packs, expansion packs. They have laid out a roadmap for this year, like for the first quarter of the year, and we will have a game pack which seems to be inspired by love. I'm hoping for a wedding game pack. I want to build a wedding venue. I would love this. A wedding venue was one of my first builds in this channel actually, and I would love to work on a new build using a wedding venue inspired build, adding some new functions, just some things that make sense. I'm always building, never playing, as you know, but when I think back to actually playing, and I used to play a lot, like so much, and I remember weddings were always such a huge mess. Sims would just be walking around somewhere, they wouldn't really sit down, and you just had one shot and you just wanted to really make it perfect. You wanted to have some, like, I wanted to take some screenshots, some pictures, like in-game pictures. Like I had one Sim in my family take pictures so I could have some amazing pictures on the wall. I always loved to have lots of photographs, so when I would be playing a family for a long time, multiple generations, I would have a huge wall filled with photos and memories. So I think I was a generational player, and I always wanted everything to be perfect, and I also didn't like to like have a wedding, and if things would go wrong, I didn't like to just exit without saving and having another shot at a wedding. I always wanted this to be a bit realistic, so there was only one wedding, and I always hated when Sims were just getting up and they stood in the way when I wanted to take a photo or something. I hope that if there should be some type of game pack related to weddings or something, I hope that we get some type of base game update, so some things are just kind of fixed, so when someone is just having a wedding, the Sims really focus on the ceremony. And I don't know, there has to be some way to make this better, or maybe that they stay within some radius around the wedding arch thingy object, so they just kind of stay near and they just have some food and dance and actually party. So it's not like they're hanging around in some random room in the house. We all know this. So this would be amazing. I would really love to have a pack like this, and I want to build a wedding venue. And let me tell you, if they don't release a game pack like this, I'm going to build one either way, because I really feel inspired. But I don't want to build one now and then when the game pack comes out. I've already used up all my ideas, so I'm going to wait and see what's going to happen, and I'm just ready for a game pack. I also want to have some amazing kits. I never buy the cast kits simply because I wouldn't use them. If I would be playing again, I would buy them to have more clothes, because why not? But right now I don't need them, which feels weird because I'm a collector in general, so I really like to have all packs and kits and stuff, but this was the moment where I stopped having a full collection, not because I'm like totally against kits or something, but I just don't need the cast ones. But I got all the build by kits, and I'm going to do the same. Like when they release some build by kits, I'm all over them. Like when they released Courtyard Oasis, I was just so amazed. You know this, when I created the Moroccan builds and stuff, I felt so inspired. So I think a kit just for building again would be great, because they did such a great job when it came to Courtyard Oasis, and I would love to have something similar where we could just have different styles and stuff in the game. But I know kids are a controversial topic, but I just need some new content. New year, new videos, new ideas, and please some new packs. I just need something new and fresh. I would love this. Let me know in the comments down below, what are you hoping for? Which packs do you want to see? What are you hoping for The Sims 4 in this new year in 2022? But let's talk about the build. So my main inspiration was to have a really huge window facade using different windows, and I wanted to use windows even for the roof area. And the main problem is that windows will be sticking out at the top if you just place windows all over your roof piece or at the wall of your roof. And then I just used my beloved pristine pedestal, which I rotated using tool, to hide all the windows sticking out at the top. And when I was done, I felt so inspired by this look that I was really going for this vibe for the whole build, which is why I'm going to add more and more of these dark windows. I've mainly used the Snowy Escape ones for this build. Like for this main window facade in the center, for example, I've used the small window from Snowy Escape and then a small base game window, but then I'm also using the square one from Snowy Escape. I've also built this seating area on the outside, as you just saw, where I'm also using the Iron Living glass floors, lots of them. And I've talked about this before, but I think it's always good to mention, when you use this square window from Snowy Escape, the Iron Living glass floor is a perfect match, so they have the same dimensions basically. And before Snowy Escape came out, I always rotated the Iron Living glass floors using tool, but this of course is not a proper window, it's just a glass floor. So it's amazing that we have this window, and it's just perfect to combine. So I was just inspired to use lots of windows, so it's really sun flooded on the inside as well. And I was going for a really modern style, and I was just expanding the build more and more. Also, the main focus point is the pool in the back. I think this is what really catches your eye when you look at the build for the first time. Not really the window facade, even though this was kind of my main inspiration and this is what I was going for. But as soon as I started to work on the pool, I know that this would be the focus point. I just love pools. I love rounded pools. There are also lots of tutorials about pools on my channel. You don't need any mods for this. You can just recreate a pool like this just with what the game has to offer. However, I confused myself at first. I hadn't built for the longest time, and you can't build any pools on platforms, which is really frustrating. And I wanted to have a pool on different levels. I also wanted to incorporate platforms and different things. So I just ended up building my pool, and I made it round using the Stony Goodness slab from Spa Day. And then I wanted to have a second level, and I just ended up using a basement. So I simply built a basement right behind my pool, and then I deleted the ceiling. You just click on the basement, you have a yellow outline, and then you just click on remove ceiling. And I did that, and then I just built a pool down there. And I wanted to have more round shapes, so the object that I used for the pool and that I've also used for all these stairs that you can see here. This is a base game debug object, and it doesn't block your Sims path. So here you can see how I just place regular stairs on the inside. So all these stairs are functional. Like your Sims won't actually walk on these, like on this debug object. They are going to use the stairs below, but it is functional. And this was kind of one of the main issues. I just built the garden, and I added lots of different objects and trees and stuff, and then I had to playtest the garden, and I realized that my sim wasn't really able to use the garden at all. And then I had to make every single section functional step by step. I don't know, there were like different issues. At some point there was like a column blocking the sim, a tree, just different things. So I had to make some adjustments, but eventually everything worked out perfectly fine. The main problem for me is when I don't know what's causing the issue. Like they have this bubble above their head, and sometimes the bubble is telling you what's the issue. So you can see the object inside the bubble, and you know, okay, I have to track down this object somewhere, or I just remove it, whatever. But sometimes you just have no idea what's the issue, especially when you are using lots of different objects, and then you have to remove different things. But I made it work eventually, so it was a struggle, but it's working. So it's of course fully functional. You can just grab this from the gallery if you want to. And yeah, here I'm working on the garden a bit more. I wanted to have a basketball court because I realized that there's so much space left in the garden, and this build is really all about the garden, the pool, as I said. So I wanted to have a really huge garden with lots of different things and activities, and I used the basketball court from city living, and I made it blue. I've built a blue one and I built, I don't know, maybe a year ago or something, and I love the color so much that I kind of wanted to use the color again because it's so beautiful. The fence is from Get to Work, I think. I think it's not even part of city living, but it just makes sense to just have this type of fence going around it. And then I used this hatch from the base game. When I'm building a house like this, which has a really huge garden, I really like to use this hatch just to have separate areas and to make it work. And here I'm already working on the interior a bit, so you can see that I have this huge hallway in the center, and I wanted to have a bridge on top so it's open. And then I started to struggle a lot because of the roofs. You can here see that all the roofs are kind of glitching into the house, the roofs obstructing the view, so I had to make a lot of big changes to the roof to make it work. And eventually the way I fixed this, as you can see here, it's totally working. The roofs above are gone. You have some roofs on the sides, but this is fine, so you can actually take a look at the rooms at the top without having a obstructed view. So I fixed this. For this build, it was all about fixing different things. I just started to build and then I noticed, okay, this doesn't make sense, I have to fix it. But I think that's probably normal after not having built for such a long time. So I fixed all of this, and then I started to add some color here and there. I wanted to have wood floors. I picked a wall color. I wanted to have different levels, so I added platforms to this build, which is always a pain because at some point you always forget to just connect a level. Something isn't working out, especially when it comes to the outside, and but it worked eventually. And you know, I'm all about huge open kitchens, comically huge kitchens, and I've received some funny comments about them ever since I started this channel actually. But this kitchen is more compact compared to my other kitchens, especially in comparison to the size, like the dimensions of this mansion. But I started to build the floor plan. I started to work on it, and you can see that there is a room behind this kitchen which is going to be a bathroom, as you will see. And I just figured it would make sense to place the kitchen there so it would connect different areas, and I wanted to use the open space for a dining room area. You can see that there are some huge windows. It's very sun flooded, so I thought, okay, I'm just going to build the kitchen over there, which is really uncommon for me. And here I just placed some NoCC gallery art. You will find all the credit in the description box, so please check all these amazing creators out. I've used different art pieces for this house. NoCC gallery art is just amazing. It's NoCC, it's just a painting that Sims paint in game, and your Sims can paint by reference, and these creators use just CC paintings to add them to the game, and then the Sim paints from reference. So it's no CC, it's just a painting a Sim created. And at some point they fixed this. they said, like, the Sims creators, of course everyone loves no CC art, so I wouldn't call this a fix, I'm sorry. However, the creators luckily found different ways to still create these paintings. I love them. I'm not even sorry. I think it's great that they found a way around the new changes and updates back then, because they are just amazing. When you look up NoCC gallery art, like in the gallery, just NoCC painting, NoCC art, just different hashtags and stuff, you will find so much art that you can just add to your build and even upload. It's NoCC. Just never forget to give credit, of course. You can just use these paintings for so many different things. There are some which are supposed to be tiles, so you can use them as a backsplash in a kitchen, for example. Unlimited possibilities. This is also in case you were wondering how some Simmers create Starbucks, for example, or McDonald's or stuff. So you have a NoCC painting and it's the logo of the company, for example. So you can do all kinds of different things, and I just love NoCC art. I just had to mention this. I haven't talked about this in a while. Every now and then I'm like, hey, NoCC art is the best thing ever. So here I'm working on the living room. There are different living rooms actually. Like, as in every huge mansion, you just have different areas. The formal living room, the hanging out in pajamas living room, the having some fancy guests over living room. I don't know, just different rooms, just which people things or which Sims things, I guess, because some rich Sims are going to live in this house probably. Just different areas, because it makes sense for a mansion, but also you just have to fill in all the space and all that. This is just an area where you can really just sit down, and maybe a someplace the piano and the dining table is right next to this area, so maybe your Sims are going to entertain some guests. But then there is another living room including a TV, so your Sims can just hang out and watch TV. And this is an office area. I raised the platform, so we have this gigantic platform. There's quite the height difference here, so we have different levels, and I just decided to turn this into an office area, and I just added a fence and some stairs. I was going for some type of industrial look. This is why I chose these stairs, the fence, and the railing. The reason was that after I started to work on the exterior and after I added all these dark windows, I was getting some industrial vibes for some reason, and I just decided to embrace it and to use at least some industrial elements on the inside. And this here is a bathroom. I just wanted this to look really dark but also cozy, so I incorporated some wooden tones, and the light in Desert Valley is always so beautiful, and you can just see here how the light is kind of coming into the room through the window, and it's looking so beautiful. And yeah, I mean, privacy could be a concern, and usually I always make sure that your Sims have their privacy. I always add curtains, but sometimes I forget, or it's just a random window looking into the middle of nowhere, so it always depends. And it of course also depends where you are placing this lot, because they're multiple 64x64 lots, of course. And yeah, I built an indoor garden. Sadie inspired me to do this. I was showing her some screenshots and I was like, what am I going to do with this area? Because originally I had just placed some columns and a fence, the same fence that I'd used for the office area and stuff. And she was like, maybe some type of indoor garden. And she's like super into plants. Like, she has so many plants, and she's like so knowledgeable. She just knows her stuff, and she genuinely inspires me to use more plants. This is also why I've used some plants for the living room area, like the second living room area. And I don't know, I just love when people are really passionate about something and it inspires me. I love this, and I don't know, I've just realized that I'm never really using any plants, and I don't have any plants in my home, like here at home in real life, and I should maybe consider like having 1 or 2 plants. I don't know, whenever I had plants in the past, didn't really work out, to be honest. I'm like one of those people who just can't take care of plants. I don't know, I mean, I take care of my cat and she's like thriving and well, but me and plants, I don't know, but they're beautiful, really beautiful. This is was the second living room, and this is another area. I wanted to be a bit creative, using different windows and some plants in between again, and a fireplace, and you can just hang out. I just wanted this to be really fancy, both on the inside and outside. Also, this house has 3 bedrooms. So if you want to have a Sim family in this house, there are 3 bedrooms in total. You could always use bunk beds and turn one of the bedrooms into a kids room, for example. And you will see all of that in the screenshots. You will see all rooms here in the screenshots. And this is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for being here in 2022. It means a lot to me. Thank you for being here after my break. And I really try to focus more on building, on creating, because that's what I want to do. That's what I love to do. And I hope that you are still around to watch my builds, and I'm just ready to build more, and I've missed you so much. Thank you for being by my side. Thank you for supporting me. And now it's time to thank my wonderful Emerald Patreons. A big thank you to Asia, Dawn Bryce, Danny, Saturated Spark, Shannon McClam, Telena Lynn, and 2 Cats Tailoring. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you to all my other Patreons. Thank you to anyone who watches my videos. I love you all so much, and I appreciate your support so much. And yeah, I hope to see you soon for another Sims 4 video. I love you so much. I hope you're doing well. I hope you will have the best week ever, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.